Welcome, everyone, to our weekly Torah learning of spreading more light into the world. We always like to start off with giving because how we give, that's how Hashem will give to us. Let's give generously so Hashem can give us generously. We're going to start with giving tzedakah. Please join me from home. I'm going to put some coins in the tzedakah box. It is known that tzedakah is protection. We're going to start off with prayer. Psalm 20, Kapitel Chaf. The Tzemach Tzedek said, if we only knew the power of Tehillim, we would say it day and night. We're going to recite Tehillim for all those that need a refuah shalema, and for the hostages to come home immediately, and for the safety of all the Jewish people around the world. So that's Psalm 20, Kapitel Chaf. Lam natseach mizmar leDavid yancha Adonai b'yam tzara. Yisagevcha Shem Elahei Akai v'yishlach ezracha mikodesh. Umiksian yisadecha yischar kol min chaysecha ve'elascha yidash nesela. Yitain lachachel v'avecha v'chol tzescha yimalei. Neranana b'shu asecha v'shem Eloheinu nigo yimalei Adonai kol mishal asecha. Ata yedati ki yeshia Adonai mishicha yanehu mishmei kachay b'gorei seisha yiminai. Ela v'recha v'ela v'asuzim v'anachnu b'shem Adonai Eloheinu naskir. Hema karo v'nafalo v'anachnu kamenu v'nisaydad. Adonai Hashia, Hamelach Yanenu, B'yam Karenu. So we're going to say some names for Tehillim, and we're including everyone in this list. Refuah Shalema for Chana Yenta, Rivka Bas Shendo, Chana Bela Bas Devora, Yosef ben Devora Leah, Yosef Yitzchak ben Bela, Razel Basadas, Rafal Chaimer ben Sima Chasha, Yosef Shlomo ben Risha, Devora Leah Bas Yafaliba, Esther Bela Bas Yehudis, Chana, Mercedes Ben Esther, and everyone that needs, we're including you in this list. We're also going to say prayers for one name, but we're including everyone. My cousin's son, Devorah Andruze, who does Shar B'Tachon series under our umbrella. Rafal Ben Devorah, he's currently in Gaza. He's a commander, and Hashem should keep him safe, and all the Chayalim and all the Chayalot safe, and all the Jews safety around the entire world, and Mashiach should come immediately, and the hostages should come home. I do these classes weekly in memory of my dear grandmother, Rivka Dina Bas Yosef Yehuda. I hope you're proud. To save a life is saving a world, and he saved many. Chaim Ber Ben Betzalel, he was known as Chaim Wolshansky, and my other grandmother, Bela Bas Betzalel. I hope you're proud. So today's class is a little bit out of the box, different, but every class has some sort of connection, so I'm going to give you a little intro. We're currently working on an RCCS auction. I hope no one knows what that organization is, but it's really important to know so we can help the organization, help those that need. So many people we daven for on our list needs refuah for that unfortunate sickness, and they're going to get it, please God. And this organization are literally like angels from above, and they help so many people. There's so many people in my personal community that needs help and around the world, and RCCS does that. They help with support, they help with funds, and they literally hold people's hands through this unfortunate sickness. So I just want to say that I'm doing this auction. About 10 years ago and 11 years ago, people do auctions from parties from home. And I committed, and I said, I'm very much the type, for those of you that know me, over the top. Everything has to be 100% perfect. I am a perfectionist. So I wanted to be great. And I made a second auction, a Crown Heights auction, an in-house auction. I went from store to store to store to store. And thank God I am the Kingston Avenue girl, and everyone knows me and I'm known. So no one said no to me. And I put together these incredible auctions 2 years in a row. Then it got too much for me, and I just put a page on and I did it virtually. Last year, I was talking to the coordinator of RCCS from Crown Heights, and I was telling her about it, and we decided we're going to do the auction. We put it out there, who wants to help, and really, we only got 4 others, so it's 5 of us that helped. Hashem created this incredible team that we would never have been a team, like we didn't know each other from before, and we put together a last-minute auction last year, and we raised $13,000, a little bit more, and we were so happy and so thrilled because, to come in 4 days, that's pretty amazing. This year, our goal is 50,000, and we hope it's going to reach 100,000. And that's where you guys come in. So where does the speaker come in? We have this group, and we're going through prizes, and obviously the prizes are never enough. And I asked all people are like, we need a wig, and everyone's like, we're never getting a wig. No one's going to give a wig. So someone wrote, do you think I should ask Yaffie begun Wigs? And I said, of course, ask. Now, I'm a little bit of a chicken, and I don't like to ask for things. I don't know her personally. I didn't feel like it was proper. like I'm very into like connection, and she asked, and about 3 minutes later, she said yes. I mean, the energy on that chat, like she like put a fire on us and under us, and we were like, we are doing this, we are working harder, and we perfected those packages. Like the most incredible prizes. Like I want every single prize on there. Like there's not one package that I don't want. So Yaffie Begun with Leah Luxion, Salon Leah, donated an incredible prize. Yaffie Begun donated her services, her wig, and she's going to tell us a little bit about. We want to understand like where it all came about. Yaffie Begun is one of the most incredible wig makers out there today, and she really makes people feel like a queen and just feel so good about themselves. Covering the hair is a mitzvah, but like we're not meant to look ugly, we're meant to look more beautiful. And that's where people sometimes think like, oh, I'm covering my hair, it's done. No, 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 your hair could, your wigs could be nicer than your hair. And she figured out a way to make them look literally like you're wearing a hair, that wearing here, that's a wig that people don't even know, and that's okay. Um, According to law, and the Rebbe really wanted people to look beautiful. He was really, really into it, and I really, really respect him for that, because he didn't want to take away from the woman. He wanted to add to us, which is so special. So we became friends overnight. We were voice noting back and forth. Most people dislike when I voice note, but thank God I found someone that is okay with my voice notes, and it's incredible. And I got to know so much about her through the voice notes that I asked her, would you consider coming on our class? Because I want to pitch this auction that the whole world can be part of it, and each one of you can have a chance to win these amazing prizes. But most of all, the most important thing is you have a chance to be part of this most amazing organization and to be a part of it. Now, last year, I didn't win any prizes. And I went to my mom and I'm like, I really, really, really wanted to win that prize. And she looked at me and she goes, Chaya, you did win. You won upstairs, and that's what's more important. You won upstairs. And I thought that was so powerful, and like blown away about what my mom said. I'm like, you're right. You know what? I'd rather the prize is upstairs than downstairs. Now, I want all of you to win upstairs and downstairs, like in heaven and down here, put them together. So hopefully people I know will win. And today with us, we have the most incredible wig maker. But before we have her tune in, Yaffie Begun from Brazil. She's all the way from Brazil. Okay, so excited. We are going to now just screen share with you a little bit about the prizes so you guys could visualize it, and then I'll tell you how you can get involved. So give me one moment. Okay, so if you see on the screen, you can zoom in. It says RCCS Crown Women's Event, which is a double auction almost. And it's at the Children's Jewish Museum, which is 792 Eastern Parkway, December 8th, 2024, this coming Sunday. Doors open at 7:30. The program and live drawing begins at 8:15. Just so you know, the prizes are going to be announced at the event. And we have an incredible guest speaker that's going to share her story and journey, Mrs. Shana Alayev. She's a big Instagrammer. You can check her out. The entrance is $30 and includes a $25 raffle ticket. And please note, this event is for women and girls 15 plus. We hope you can bring your girls, your high school girls, and please bring your friends. I would be so appreciative. Now, if you want to buy tickets and you can't come to the event, please reach out to me. We could either do it over the phone or in the inbox. I will have for all of you to share a file that you can link in to order your tickets. We would love to make this worldwide. We want to raise 50K in 1 week. Please help us. Please be generous. You can give Meiser. It's a mitzvah in the Torah to give Meiser. Meiser is 10% of your earnings. That doesn't really belong to us, but Hashem did give us the option where we want to put the tzedakah. So I'm requesting that you guys all consider to put your tzedakah in this incredible organization. Okay, so now we're going to show you the grand prizes. So it's going to come up on the screen in just a second. Okay, so we have 3 grand prizes in store for you. We have, check out the wig, the grand prize, Yaffie Begun, and also styled and take, like, you get your full wig with Leah Luxion, which is Salon Leah. So gracious of her to partner with Yaffie Begun. Thank you so much. And we're going to hear more about them a little bit later. We also have a grand prize from Mink Jewelers, a coin that was donated, a very special coin, and it came from a very special person. The day that I asked if someone would donate the coin, she reached out to me. She goes, I want to donate the coin and I want to tell you why. And she basically told me she got good news from bad news. She thought she had bad news. and she got good news, and she said she wants to donate this incredible, incredible coin that the Rebbe gave out at a really, really special time. So we're very blessed. Mink Jewelers, which is my family, so gracious that they donated this incredible, incredible coin setting. We're going to zoom out just a drop on the recording just so you can see it a little bit better. Give us a second while we zoom out. Okay, now zoom in. You can see the prizes a little better. It's a really, really special coin setting, and you can choose which coin setting you want. It doesn't have to be this one, but we can choose, which will be really special, and I hope someone wins. I just want to tell you something also about the coin. This is a really, really, really special gift. It's from the hand of the Rebbe. I'm going to tell you a story that connects to RCCS, not to RCCS, but to someone that had this terrible, terrible macha, someone that I really knew so well from Florida, Miami, and I love her so much, and she should continue to have a complete refuah shalema. And thank God she got good news, and Hashem should bless her that she should have a long life with healthy years. But I gifted her a bracelet by Mink Jewelers. She made her the most incredible, like simple but beautiful bracelet with like gold links and the coin on it. I wanted to be all about the coin, not so much about the beauty, but I wanted to emphasize the coin, but it was beautiful. And she told me that she took it off one day, and that day she got bad news, and she kept it on and she never takes it off. This woman has the most beautiful jewels, Baruch Hashem. So happy for her that she's able to have everything that she needs materially, and Hashem should give her everything that she needs spiritually for a long, healthy life, and we love her. Chana Leah Sarah Bat Pesha Gittel, we love you. So I'm just telling you, this coin setting is a very special gift from the Rebbe, like that you can win. It's very holy. This wig is incredible. Everyone wants Yaffie begun. It's like every girl's dream, every college dream, every like, you know, mother of the bride's dream, and it's not a cheap gift. It's up to $4,500, and I really hope someone I know wins. And whoever wins, I will be so happy for you because you deserve it. It's all from Hashem. And then we have a spiritual package, which I'm so excited about. It's a GEM membership, which we share weekly. Thank you to GEM for all your incredible work that you do to put out so much light into the world and sharing Rebbe videos and encounters with the Rebbe. I know someone at the GEM, and I reached out to them, and they donated it in memory of in memory and loving of Tzvi ben Alexander HaKohen Kogan, the shliach that was murdered, and Hashem must send Mashiach now because he was such a tzaddik and such a special man, and Hashem should comfort his family. So you get that and $1 from the Rebbe that was sponsored by Shafi Shimoni in memory of someone that she loved dearly. You can see it on the flyer. And I just want to say that my grandmother, Bela Bas Pizzalo, she's in the year that she passed away. The Mink Jewelers sponsored it in her honor. So that is the grand prize. But now we're going to show you now some flyers of the other prizes. So give us a moment while you pull it up. I'm not going to go through each one of them because it's going to take like 2 hours, but you could take a glimpse of it. But we have the children's package, the Simcha package, a teen package, a Chassan package. Now go on. We're going to go on to the next one. The next slide. We have an upsharnish package. We have a baby package. We have a children's package too. We have a men's package. We have a kala package. Wait, there's more, guys. Give us a moment. We're going to show you the next one. We have Friends Day Out package. We have Recharge package, a Shabbos package, Glamour package, Homemaker package. Let's see if we have something else. And one more. Wow, it doesn't end. A restaurant package, Kingston Avenue shopping spree package, women's package, treat yourself package, home collection package. Thank you so much for screen sharing. I just want to say a huge thank you. I just want to say a huge thank you to all the store owners of Crown Heights, Kingston Avenue, every single person that sponsored privately and anonymously, even those that sponsored not privately and anonymously. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for helping us with this. This is teamwork, and we can't do it without all of you. From the smallest prize to the biggest prize, it's all as important, okay? Each amount counts. From $25 to $50. Don't think just because you could only donate $18 or $50 or $25, it doesn't count, because every amount adds up. It's so important. And we're so, so grateful to all of you for real. And we're going to give a lot of shout outs. It's going to be on Seawall Live, please God. And we are going to hopefully share it. Now, what do I need from all of you viewers? I need your help to, when you get this on your, like on the broadcast, I have 5 broadcasts, Baruch Hashem, and we're going to spread it all around the world. I need your help to spread these incredible prizes, to team up with us so we could help RCCS. RCCS is your problem too, because it's a Jewish organization that helps Jewish people around the entire world, and we need to help them. So Crown Heights is teaming up. We wanted to do something out of the box to help raise funds, and we're so grateful today to Yaffie Begun for being here. She's going to start off with sharing her story and how she got into being a wig maker, because I am sure she never imagined herself being someone who sells wigs and creates wigs. We spoke about this a little bit, touched on it, because she never imagined, just like I never imagined that I would be doing this for the world, like being a host on a Zoom class or a YouTube channel, never crossed my mind. So today we have with us Yaffie Begun. Yaffie, take it away. So excited to hear your story, your journey, how you got into this, and inspire us all to keep doing mitzvos, because through your shluchas, your what Hashem gave you, your mission, you have so many more missions that come about from what we spoke about. You're not just a wig maker. You're not someone just like that puts it out into the world. You also have a lot of encounters with really incredible people, and we're going to hear from you today and what inspired you to do all this. Who's behind this, all this inspiration? So welcome, Yaffie from Brazil. So excited to have you. Tell us a
Thank
little bit
you.
about you.
Hi, Haya. Hello from beautiful sunny Sao Paulo, Brazil. We are summertime now, actually, so which is very special for us. But I'll start my story actually years ago. Crown Heights girl, grew up on Montgomery Street, and met a very nice young rabbi from Sao Paulo, Brazil. And we made the decision to come out here to continue spreading the Rebbe's work here. My husband's father had come here to Brazil and opened up the schools to be able to spread Judaism in places where we unfortunately didn't have much before. So it wasn't an easy decision. My older sister had already left to Australia. I don't think my parents were so excited about having one more going on to the other side of the world. But you know what? It was an idealism that we grew up with. It was something that the Rebbe really, really encouraged in young couples. And it was a move that we made happy in our hearts. We knew it was the right thing for us. Little did I know what would come of my life here. But when I first came to Brazil, it was a frightening thing. Right before I came, of course, with my little baby in my arms, I went by the Rebbe, and we have a picture, if you'd like to show a picture of when we went by, I got dollars from the Rebbe. At that time, the Rebbe was giving out dollars. And if we want to pull that up. Okay. So with a lot of trepidation, before we left to Brazil, we went to the Rebbe. I was with my newborn daughter, my oldest child. The Rebbe gave us $1 and a blessing and sent us off to Sao Paulo, Brazil. It wasn't easy in the beginning, of course. I didn't have the language. I needed to learn Portuguese, and I thank God for my love of languages, because I was able to pick up Portuguese quite quickly, which was a real life-saving thing, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to communicate. And I'm a communicator. So there was no way I was going to not learn the language. I needed to communicate. So speaking Portuguese wasn't so easy, different culture, but I was happy to be here. My husband's family, everyone dedicated themselves to the schools here and education, and I was very involved in all of that. But I did have a second love, and I was always very into doing my hair, doing my sister's hair. One summer before I got married, there was a wig maker in Crown Heights. Her name was Miriam Tinman, and I wasn't doing much, and I offered my services to her, and she taught me a lot. I would sweep up, and I would help her wash wigs, and she taught me lots of stuff. So when I got to Brazil, as there was no one really around me who was doing that, I started doing it for myself. And slowly, there were people who started asking me as well, my sisters-in-law, my friends, hey, can you wash and set my wig? It was sure, of course, no problem. So my family was growing, a bunch of little kids. I was working in school in the cheder in our small school, and I was doing the wig part. And it was something that I saw was growing a lot, but I had a lot of doubts because I had come here on my shlichus. I was sent here as an emissary by the Rebbe. I wasn't sure what I should do. I was trying to balance, as any mom entrepreneur does, my small children, my work in school, and this small budding business that I had, which was washing and setting wigs. And it was a real dilemma. And one of the wives of the first shluchim, the first emissaries that came here to Brazil, Mrs. Esther Alpern, was somebody who she really was a mother for me here in Brazil. She unfortunately passed away, but she was somebody who I was extremely close to, and I was extremely unsure about what I should do at that point. I mean, you come for a certain reason to a place, and you're not sure if you can give that up to do something else. And I sat down with her and I said, Rebbetzin Esther, I need your help. I need to make a very difficult decision right now. Do I leave educating children in school and go into the wig business? Is this okay to do this? What choice do I have? And she said something to me. She said, everyone has their shlichus in life. Everyone has what they have to do in life. And anyone can teach. At the time, I was actually teaching English in school because they needed an English teacher. And I was fluent in English as I'm an American. She said, we can find somebody else to teach English in school, but we can't find somebody else who has possibly that talent that you have and the love that you have for helping women cover their hair. So continue in your work here, which is just as holy, by helping women do this mitzvah, which is not always that easy. And it was like a real, it was just an epiphany for me to hear her say those words to me, because I hadn't thought about it that way. And when she said it that way, it just filled my heart with, you know what? Maybe this is the reason that the Rebbe sent me here. Maybe this is why I'm supposed to be here, to help women do this mitzvah. So at that point, things shifted, and I did start working with wigs. In the beginning, washing and setting. Then I started importing wigs, and it ended up growing into something much bigger than I obviously ever imagined. Word of mouth got around, and many people who had cancer, and this is, I feel like, where RCCS probably even starts in my life, of the understanding of the importance. Many people who needed wigs for oncological reasons started looking for me. And it was literally by word of mouth, doctor to doctor, friend to friend. And I started realizing the enormity of what women go through. Thank God we do this mitzvah for a good reason. So it's wonderful that I have brides who cover their hair and married women who make the decision to cover their hair. They're doing it for a holy reason. But unfortunately, I had the other side of the business as well that I felt was a shlichus as well, because there were so many women out there who, unfortunately, for different reasons, needed to cover their hair with a wig, whether it was oncological, alopecia. Some women, unfortunately, start losing their hair at an earlier age. And I saw the emotional toll it took on so many of these women. And it really also gave me an opportunity to discuss certain things. We know that the Rebbe always spoke about the 7 Noahide laws that we spread to people who are not part of the Jewish nation. And I just felt that more and more, this was really what I was here for. This was why the Rebbe sent me here. It really grew into something that I used to think to myself, what is little Yaffie Heber from Montgomery Street doing here? I got a phone call one day that Naomi Campbell would be here in town. She'd be doing a photo shoot for Vogue, and would I please supply the wigs? I was just so shocked. I even have a picture up there. If you guys want to bring it up on the screen, I was like, okay, sure. And so I was called, I was asked to do wigs for this Vogue photo shoot. At the time, there was no social media. So it's not like we were able to, tell people about it. If somebody bought the magazine, they would see somewhere in the back in very small little letters, Yaffie begun. But it was a very interesting meeting. She was one of the interesting people that I met. Another person, we have another picture. I was called one day and so one day I got a phone call and I was told that there was somebody very, very important in the hospital. Can I please come meet them? They're going to need a wig. I was like, sure, okay. And I'm thinking some famous actor or actress. And I had no idea about Brazilian politics, very honestly. I understood nothing and I wasn't really very interested in it. And I came to the hospital, and before I went into the door, through the door, one of the hospital management people were there, and they said to me, "Do you know who is inside the room?" And I was like, "No, I have absolutely no idea." They said, "Dilma Rousseff," and I was like, "Okay, I don't know who that is." And she said to me, "The future president of Brazil." And at the time, there were elections going on. I walked into the room, I met her. It was a very interesting meet. She actually said to me that she had been to the White House and that there were people eating kosher. She said to me, asked me a lot of questions. Why did I come to Brazil? Was it hard for me to leave my family? It was a very, very, very interesting conversation. I met her a few times. I did her wigs for her. And after that, she actually started recommending different people to me. So I was doing like different ministers, women ministers in government. And because of Naomi Campbell, I also ended up being very much involved in fashion shoots and things like that when people needed wigs. And at a certain point, I started manufacturing my own wigs. It just became easier. It was something that was growing at a very fast rate. And the whole Indian story happened. I don't know if anybody remembers the story that we were told we're not supposed to use Indian hair. And I realized that I was very lucky. I was in a really good position because I was in South America, which is a huge source of hair. If you want to bring up on screen, I can show you what my daily norm is. So on any given day, if you come into my house, this is probably what my dining room table would look like. I source every strand of hair myself, and I started creating my own pieces. And South America has really a richness of beautiful hair. We have from the south of Brazil, we have a lot of European, Polish, German, Yugoslavian, women that have blonde hair. That's our much more expensive hair. And then we have our cheaper hair that is darker hair that comes from indigenous people. They have beautiful hair. It's a mix of European and indigenous. So I started very much getting into this business, creating my own pieces, and it just became something really big. Now, in the beginning, I was only working here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. It started getting bigger. People would come from Rio de Janeiro. People would come from Porto Alegre, from Curitiba, from Bahia, from all over Brazil. And I realized that I had something in my hand that I could start possibly doing wholesale and possibly starting to distribute to other wig makers in the United States that they can sell my wigs. Interestingly enough, the success of my business came about when I was older, because I've really been in this business already for 30 something years. And it wasn't something that happened overnight. I remember trying years ago, maybe 18 years ago, taking the wigs that I had started creating and going around to sheitomachers and asking them, are they interested in my wigs? And they would sit there, some sold here and there, but it wasn't an overnight success. The overnight success happened when my young daughter, who was newly married, decided to give me a hand. She said, Mom, you have a great product. And you can show the picture of my beautiful partner, my oldest daughter, Chaya. Yeah, it doesn't have to say. So my beautiful oldest daughter said to me, Mom, let's do something. And she started getting us onto social media. It was something, us oldies, all of this stuff was very, very new to us, and wasn't part of our growing up. So when I started my business, it was really word of mouth, everything. And when my daughter said to me, Mom, this is the way you get word out about your product, I was like, listen, if you take that part over and you do it, let's see what'll happen. And it snowballed into something incredible. I could not have done it without my daughter. Chaya is my partner in crime. She runs our entire wholesale showroom in Baltimore, Maryland, and that's where we distribute from. We distribute all over the world. We distribute to Australia, to England, to Canada. We distribute to Miami, California. We are all over the place. And I'm just so grateful that HaKadosh Baruch Hu God gave me this chance, to this opportunity to use my talents and to create something that I can participate in a mitzvah, in this commandment that we have for married women to cover their hair, and also to be able to be so involved in a very difficult thing for women who have cancer or any other kind of disease that causes hair loss. So I just feel like at the end of the day, today, when I look back, I know why the Rebbe sent me here. And in my full heart, I know that the Rebbe saw my future and knew that this was the place for me to be. So that's really the culmination, in short, of how things started and how it evolved into what it is today.
Wow. Okay. So now we're going to get to some stories about how you helped some people. What made you, because it was enough for you just for hair covering, but what made you get into it for people with illness? And if you could share some stories, I know you have personal stories, personal people in your life that's been through it, that's no longer in this world. We're going to honor them today on this class as well. If you can share that with us. I just want to say one thing before. Your previous boss, Shlucha, I forget her name, if you could say her name.
Esther Alpin. She wasn't my boss, but she was somebody who we were very, very close to.
So someone that you went to for advice.
Correct.
She really looked into what's good for you, not what's good for her. Because, she could have said, listen, this is a great person. She knows English. We really need her. She didn't do that, which is such a beautiful, character trait on her end. And it's so much that we can learn from her, that she was selfless. She wanted what's good for you, not what's good for her. And that's what's so incredible. It's almost like you went to her for a mashpia question, like a mentor.
She was my mashpia. She was my mentor.
Okay, can you tell, for those of you listening that don't know what a mashpia is, can you tell us what a mashpia is?
Of course. Well, first I want to explain something about Rebbetzin Esther Alprin. My husband's family came here. My father-in-law, Rabbi Hershel Begun, together with his wife, Rebbetzin Rivka, she was Hurston. And then she married my father-in-law. She became Begun. Alav Shalom, she passed away. My shver, my father-in-law, he should be well until 120. He continues to work in the Meistas in our schools. So they came here to set up the educational, the Judaic educational system here in Sao Paulo. That's why they were sent by the Rebbe. And at the same time, there were emissaries that were sent here as well for other things. One of those couples were Rabbi Shapsi Alperin, and he should also live and be well till 120, and his wife, Esther Alperin, who unfortunately passed away. Yes. But she was definitely a mashpia for me. A mashpia is somebody who, when we have questions and doubts, it's somebody who will lead us and guide us to come to the correct conclusions of these doubts and worries that we have. It could be connected to religion. It could be connected to our personal lives. It could be connected to our day-to-day lives. She usually, someone who gives us this kind of guidance is called a mashpia, and that is a religious mentor. So Mrs. Alperin, Rebbetzin Alperin, was my mentor. There were many times that I went to speak to her about certain things. One time the first time I was asked to help raise money for a bride who needed a wig. And at the time, I was not yet manufacturing on my own. I was bringing in Frida wigs from the United States. And I was told that there's a kala who cannot afford a wig. And I took it upon myself to raise money. At the time, I was only selling, I wasn't manufacturing, I was selling here in Brazil. So I knew I wasn't going to make any profit, obviously, for myself, but I needed to cover the costs of the actual wig. So I went around to collect money, and I didn't get the best feedback. This is probably, again, a while ago, and there were many like married women who said to me, well, I don't even have an expensive custom wig for myself. So like, is that really what a bride needs? Like maybe she needs, her, maybe she needs stuff for her house, and maybe she needs, why should I be giving for that? And I was so unsure about what I was doing. So I went to my mashpia, Mrs. Alperin, and I said to her, we called her Donna Esther because here Donna, it would be instead of Mrs. and you use the first name. So I said, Donna Esther, I don't know what to do. There is a kala, and she cannot afford a wig, and I really think she deserves something very beautiful. And she said something to me that stays with me till today. Every lesson I have from her is a lesson that I still use today. She passed away already. I think it's probably somewhere around 20 years, 18, 20 years, but every lesson that she taught me stays with me. She said to me, first of all, is there another bride in town? I said, yeah. She said, and what kind of, it was the daughter of Shluchim here, and what kind of wig is she getting? I said, oh no, she's getting 2 good wigs. She said, so tell me why this young Kala doesn't deserve at least 1 good wig, just as beautiful as the other Kala. She said to me, I'm going to teach you something. She said, it says in Gemara that we do not put an obstacle in front of a blind person. What does this mean? What do you mean we don't put, and do we put an obstacle in front of a seeing person? She said, an obstacle in front of a seeing person is not an obstacle. It's an aliyah. It lifts you up and takes you to the next step. She said, the obstacle that you have in front of you now and the pushback that you're getting from people is an aliyah. It's not an obstacle. Here is $300. Keep going. You're going to get that wig for that bride. And I did. And that was the first push I got to understand how important it is at certain times to help people who need help with this mitzvah. And it was something that at the time, it really, really moved me a lot. And continuing on in my life, every time I would hear that somebody's collecting for a kala, for this, for that, for someone who's ill, I would remember what she said, and I knew that it was something that I needed to help out with. So that's my story with Esther Alperin.
Wow. So I just want to tell you that whatever comes to mind, that's what I asked. And this was literally from upstairs to ask you about. It wasn't part of our program, you know that. So that was a beautiful, beautiful lesson. We're going to learn a lot of lessons today that we learned. So now we're going to go into so what I learned from this is I'm also very passionate about helping brides. What I learned from this is like, and I've gotten answers just like you about why does she need it? Let her get secondhand. No, guys, if you can help, do it. But if you can't help, just don't say anything. Like, don't discourage a person from helping. That's a
Right.
lesson that I learned from you. But from what I learned is people are pretty awesome. So okay, so now going back to wig covering for this cause of cancer. Can you tell us a little bit, like some stories, how you may have helped some people? The Rebbe said that people that go out on shluchas that go out and spread light um, aren't they're a little bit limited because they're not limited, but someone that is in business can really inspire someone even more because they're not hired as a rabbi or a rebbitzin, like that's expected of them. They are someone out of the box, so sometimes you can hear it more from a person that is in business. That's from the rebbe's um, perspective, and it's brilliant and it's true. It always works. So if you can tell us some of those type of stories, we would love to hear, to inspire us to give. Today is about inspiring you all to want to give to RCCS and to give in general tzedakah. It's an obligation to give tzedakah, 10%, and you can choose where you want to put it.
Okay, so continuing on to this whole beautiful story. Unfortunately, there were many women who searched and found me that needed to cover their hair because of oncological reasons. It just so happens that many of them were Jewish and had no connection whatsoever to Judaism. So I was seeing a pattern of how I would meet someone because she needed a wig, and I would start talking to her and she would tell me, "Oh yeah, well, my mother was Jewish, but I'm married to someone who isn't." And I would say right away, um, "Have you ever lit candles for Shabbat?" And many times they would say, "Oh no, I don't do that," you know. And I had an incredible experience one time with a woman who went home and she told me she did not want to light the candles for Shabbat. And around 20 minutes before Shabbat, I got a phone call from her and she said she had a change of heart and she felt like she was going through a very difficult time with the cancer that she had. And she decided she did want to light those candles for Shabbat. She lit the candles for Shabbat. And after Shabbat, she called me and she said to me, she literally felt like her grandmother and her mother were standing next to her, even though they were in a different world. And she said that the memories came flooding back of when she was a small child and she would see her grandmother lighting candles, a custom that her mother never continued on doing. So even through this work of mine and this business, it ended up being something really so much bigger than that. And again, in a way that I really felt that the Rebbe knew that I was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, in my family, we went through something very, very difficult 10 years ago. We discovered that my older sister, Rivki, my best friend, we are four, and it was my older sister Rivki, myself, my younger sister Brachana, and my brother Naya. So there were the older kids, the older girls. That was me and Rivki, and then the younger ones were Brachana and Naya. And I was extremely close to my sister. She lived in Australia, in Melbourne, and we had our ritual because when it was morning by me, it was night by her. So in the morning, my kids would leave to school. I would get my coffee out and sit down on the couch and call my sister. And she would tell me about her day because it was already night. She was a fourth grade teacher, very, very dedicated teacher. She was also a college teacher. And we would have our time, and even though it was long distance, it was our connection was extremely close. I mean, I just heard something so beautiful. I heard that there's nothing like a sibling relationship. Siblings are somebody who know you from either when they were born or you were born, and they will be with you through thick and thin until 120. A sibling is a part of you. And I remember the phone call that we got right. And unfortunately, I know that not everyone has that kind of relationship with their sibling. I feel very lucky that I do. And I was very close to my sister. And unfortunately, people do go through life and don't have that close relationship. But my sister really was my best friend. And right after Sukkot, right after Simchat Torah, we found out that my sister had leukemia. We were told it's 99.9% cure. And we were so sure that everything was going to be hunky-dory. She was going to do treatment. She was going to do chemo, and it was going to be good. It was going to be good. I remember my sister and I, Hannah, got on a plane and went to be with my sister in Australia. We were going to be with her a bit while she was doing chemotherapy. She needed to stay in the hospital. So the two of us came and we were sitting in the family waiting room. And my sister came in and there was a gentleman sitting next to her and he asked her what disease she has. And she told him and he said, how's the cure? And she said, oh, 99.9%. So it was something that we just so believed that she would make it through. Unfortunately, the treatment did not work for my sister. My brother-in-law and my nephew worked very hard to bring her to the United States, and RCCS was extremely instrumental in all of that, finding us the proper doctors, getting her into Sloan Kettering, taking care of so many things. RCCS was just pivotal in everything. And even though, unfortunately, literally, I think it was like 3 months to the day that we found out that she was sick, she passed away in the United States. The fact that she was in the United States, again, we are eternally grateful to RCCS because we had that time with her. At the end, the family was able to be with her. And if she would have been doing treatment in Australia and she would have unfortunately left this world there, then we would not have had those last months, days with her. So RCCS did so much for us at that time that when I got that phone call, when Amalia called me, I would not have thought twice. Unfortunately, right now, in my family, we have 2 members of our family who are going through this terrible illness. And once again, RCCS has been, I feel like crying when I say it, because this is people who give their time voluntarily to help people who are sick 24/7. I was together with a family member of mine recently, and Chava, this incredible woman from RCCS, I don't even know who she is. I know we just talked to Chava from RCCS, got us in for this person to be able to have their testing done as soon as possible, to get the diagnosis done as soon as possible, and to get into treatment ASAP. This is all RCCS. They are the most incredible organization that I would not, for me, I'm honored that I was asked to donate the wig to RCCS. And I would like to say it here, Chaya, Emir Tashem, Mashiach should come and we shouldn't need it. But next year, Bli Neder, I will be giving a shaitel again for the RCCS auction. So I'm saying it here and I'm saying it now. You can count on me.
Okay, so then we need to count on all of you because we all pledge that we're only gonna do this if we raise 30 to 50K from the Crown Heights division
You're
of
going to do it.
RCCS. We're gonna
50K.
do it. I'm gonna ask everyone to please have extra thoughts, and we're including everyone that needs for two people. Dvorale Abbas Yaffie, she is a shlucha that tunes into our class weekly. This class gives her so much life, and she actually is sharing her story next week and the following week on the recordings. It's heartbreaking, but also beautiful to see what a beautiful person she is. She has so much um, faith in Hashem and God and the Rebbe, and she knows that she's going to get better. And she started her own organization, which Yaffie, I'll share the recordings with you because I'm sure you'll want to see. She's the most special person, and also a very dear friend of mine and my husband's, Yosef Yitzchak Ben Bela. He should have a complete refuah shlema, and no one should suffer anymore. It's painful. But if you're able to give something, it's not even like what you can give, it's how you give. Give something. Everyone has something to give of themselves. It could be volunteer, it can be money, it can be something small. Like, don't think that a small donation doesn't add up, and we need your help. I'm crying because I followed your sister's story, and it's like becoming real, and her neshama should have the highest aliyah, and you guys should have her back with the coming of Mashiach. I know her daughter Pearl, and there should be no more suffering or pain. Like, I don't know what I don't know what I would do without my sisters. I have two wonderful sisters, and like, they're my life, you know. I'm the
Yeah.
little sister, but like, they watched me grow, and now I'm almost like their bossy big sister, but I'm not. But like, Hashem should just make everyone better. But like, what's beautiful about our nation is that we really care about each other. After October 7th, look what a beautiful nation we are. We all came together as one. It didn't matter. All of a sudden, everything was just stripped away. It didn't matter your beliefs. Like, we have to just remember that, like, the only person we have is Hashem and each other. We are like brothers and sisters, and we need to like unite as one. And I just want to say that when Yaffie gave the wig, she really like taught me something so valuable. Like, I was like, go for it. So I sent Amalia, my dear colleague and now friend, to do it because I didn't have the courage, because I didn't fully believe, because we got a lot of like no's, like for big prizes. And like, I don't blame them, because like people get knocked on their door all day, every day. And we're grateful because I'm sure they're gonna support in other ways. So I didn't think we're gonna get a wig. Like, I really didn't. And when you said yes, it was literally, you didn't make us wait. You didn't say, call me back in 10 minutes, call me back, come back to me. Like, a lot of people sometimes do that, and it sometimes discourages the person that's asking. But I'm not asking for myself, I'm asking for the community. I have to say, the community of Crown Heights, please support Crown Heights community. Like, they have the most amazing stores, amazing prices, amazing
and
service.
Organizations as well, Kaya.
Yeah, incredible organizations, 100%. But like, what's amazing is that what I saw, like, because I went from store to store to store, like,
Yeah.
I'm that person, the face, and people just said, sure, come back, pick it up, like, and we have an amazing team. So really, thank you so much, because you gave us literally life to continue. And I'm going to tell my colleagues, they're going to listen to this. We are doing this next year, but hopefully we won't have to, because Mashiach is coming, and the Rebbe promised Mashiach is coming. Now we want to hear more stories, because I know you have more stories where you help people. This is a true treat that we have you. People always ask me, how do you get the best speakers? And I'll tell you how. The Rebbe's my partner, and Hashem. So that's how. That's how we connected. We didn't know each other before, Yaffie and myself.
No.
But we are very connected because, her parent, she lived in Montgomery Street. My grandparents grew up in Montgomery Street. At the end of the day, we're all connected. Everyone has some sort of connection. So we're going to continue hearing from her, inspiring, like, how she got mitzvos done through being a wig maker. She has a lot of different things under her umbrella. It's not just like, oh, I'm a entrepreneur. No, she's also a shlucha in a huge way. So let's continue.
Well, first of all, I want to tell you that I remember your grandmother, your Minkowitz grandmother. I remember her well. What a beautiful, regal woman. Really, she was somebody who stands out in my mind as a young girl. I remember her from the bungalow colony. So just to tell you, that you come from good place, you come from good genes. I remember her very well. And I'm honored to be part of this. That's Le'iloi Nishmasa. So thank you very, very much. I want to mention something about tzedakah that I learned. I always felt, obviously we know we have to give meiser, and this is something very, very important. But I feel that sometimes we don't realize that it's not just meiser. During COVID, actually right at the beginning of COVID, my father was one of the first people who passed away of COVID. I was here in Brazil. It was very, very hard. I sat Shiva by myself. I couldn't be together with my family. I had to watch my father's funeral on Zoom. It was a very, very difficult time. But I say this with truth in my heart. God brought COVID. We don't understand why. It was a very difficult time. We lost so many special people. But COVID also brought some incredible things and taught us so many different life lessons. And I think back today, and I'm actually grateful for what COVID taught me. One of the things that really affected me during COVID was I am friendly with a young lady whose name is Rihanna Afton Friedman. Rihanna was actually a student of my sister's. Rihanna grew up on Shlichut in Hong Kong, and there was no education there for her. And she was sent at a very young age to Melbourne, Australia to learn. She was actually a student of my sister's. My sister took her under her wing, and I became friendly with Rihanna when my sister passed away, because when we were sitting Shiva, she came and she told us how she had such a strong connection with my sister, and we had never known that part of the story. And I became very good friends with Rihanna. When my father passed away, you can imagine, here alone in Sao Paulo, Brazil, with my husband and my two youngest children, was devastating. I can't remember that Pesach. He passed away a week before Pesach. I got up from Shiva, Erev Pesach, Erev the Seder. It was like just a nightmare. And I got a phone call from Rihanna, my friend Rihanna, and she said to me, Yaffie, I would like to start having a shiur with you in Chavos Halavavos. And Gates of Emunah, Gates of Belief. And I said to her, I can't. I can't. I'm in so much pain right now. I can't. And she said, yes, you can. I'm going to call you once a week. You don't have to, you don't have to read. You don't have to speak. You don't have to answer. I'll read. You just listen. And I was like, fine, Rihanna. Okay. I mean, she was obstinate enough to, push me and say, fine. And we started learning Chavos Halavavos, and slowly but surely, I started enjoying it. And slowly but surely, I started taking in the lessons that I was learning. And then I'd be like, okay, fine, I'm reading this week. And one of the main lessons that we learn from this incredible book, from this incredible sefer, is that what God gives us is not ours. If you have a business, if you come into money, if God gives you possibility, it's not yours to choose. It's his. He gave it to you for you to take care of it and do the right thing with it. He gave you a responsibility. He gave you the means to be able to help others. It's not yours. You can't think. You need to give. And it doesn't matter what amount it is. But if God made sure that you have $50 in your pocket, It's there, of course, for you to be able to take care of yourself. But whatever is left over or whatever is there that's extra, it doesn't have to only be 10%. You can give and you can help whatever amount it is. So for me, that understanding that God is giving me for me to be able to give back was a lesson that changed my outlook on tzedakah, on charity. So for me, that lesson, I feel like what I took out of it, and as bad as COVID was, it opened my eyes to help organizations when they come to me. I mean, listen, of course, people come to you all the time asking you, can you please donate? Can you please donate to this newspaper? Could you please donate to this school? All of these things, obviously, we want to give to everybody. But for me, there are organizations that people volunteer and dedicate their lives to help the Jewish community. Those are the organizations that when they call me, I don't think twice because it's not mine. God gave it to me for me to be able to give. So any organization that helps brides, organizations that help sick people, organizations that help people with cancer, High Lifeline, RCCS, Bonei Olam, people, organizations that help people with fertility. These are organizations that come to us and say, please help. So remember, whatever you have, God gave it to you for you to be able to give. RCCS is an organization that every single person needs to participate in being able to help. I live my life seeing how it helps. I have another relative that is very ill. RCCS got this person insurance. They made sure that they have the best doctors. Who does this? Who does this? This is an organization that puts itself 100% into the cure to make life easier for people who are going through difficulty. So I feel like all of that was something very, very important as well, to learning how to give. So COVID gave me that gift of sight to understand what it means to give charity and what it means to give tzedakah. So I think that that's a super important lesson for all of us.
Wow. And you said something about gates of trust, Shar B'Tachon, which
Yes.
I have it under our umbrella. We have my cousin Devorah Andrusier, who's a Shar B'Tachon enthusiast now, after her son went into the army. So she teaches it. He's a commander, and it was scary for her. He was in Gaza. We davened for him in the beginning of the class. If anybody would like to get all the classes, we have 32 classes out, and we constantly record.
Incredible.
And it taught me also, like, it's really not ours, and we are Hashem's, like, accountants. And if we deal with what he gives us properly, he'll continue giving us. But if he doesn't, he's going to give it to the next person.
Right.
So it's really, really amazing. And I just want to tell you a cute RCCS story. So I'm involved with a lot of things, and I try to really help. Community matters, and and sometimes it's just like a lot for me. People think it's so easy for me, but it's really not. Like, me calling people for donations or like giving something, it's really out of my comfort zone, but like I do it because it's needed. So about 3 years ago, I said I'm not doing it. The person called me, and she's like, I completely understand. And I told my husband, I said, I'm not doing RCCS this year. And he goes, why? I said, because I'm tired. And he goes, do it. I said, no. And he's like, I think you should do it. So I did it, not with an open heart, but I did it. And um, it's really easy to do it because all you have to do is take a link and you just send it out, and whatever comes in, it's from Hashem. So, like, it's so easy to say yes. It's like literally taking time out of your life, making a page, and then sending it to your colleagues, and you are part of this organization of helping Klal Yisrael. And I get a call that Saturday night, that Matzah Shabbos, that I won a heart necklace. I said, what? They're like, yeah, there was a raffle for people that are part of this and that raised $5,000 or more, and you were in the raffle and you won. And I
Mhm.
was just like shell shocked. I got so many congratulations. And I was like, I didn't have like a heart necklace like this. And my dad's a jeweler, but I grew up loving jewelry. And it's never enough. Like, I mean, a girl and her jewels. I mean, everyone has their love language. And I was gifted this necklace. I'm wearing it right now.
Oh,
It's a
it's
diamond
beautiful.
heart, and I felt like it was a kiss from Hashem from upstairs, and he was saying, I'm giving you love. Like, thank you so much for doing this for me. So I recently re-put this on, and it's on me. And when a mitzvah comes my way, I try not to turn it away because someone else will get the opportunity to have that mitzvah. So thank you everyone for helping us with this mitzvah of RCCS, of helping those that need, and other mitzvahs. We're gonna hear now from Yaffie because she has so many mitzvahs of some other things that she took upon herself, which blown away. And we're gonna hear from her. So I just want to know, like, I'm so proud of you. Proud knowing you, like all the little things that you do, and I probably don't know enough. We're gonna get to know each other more, but and thank you for those beautiful words about my grandmother. That was very meaningful to me. I took care of her at the end of her life, and um she is for sure smiling from upstairs, no doubt. But basically, I want to know, like, your family's role in this. Are they so proud of you? Like, are they like supportive? Your husband, your children, are they proud of your mitzvos that you do? If you could tell us.
They're, I think that my children and my husband are probably my biggest fans. I'm so lucky to be surrounded by people who support me, who love what I do, whether it's even in the business itself. Everybody gives a hand, everyone helps. And with the tzedakah, for sure, they love when I'm involved in something, when I'm asked to speak for an organization, everybody shows up. And yeah, I think my husband is really my biggest fan. If you'd like, I can talk a little bit about another thing that I do here in Brazil. I do Chevra Kadisha as well. And that's something else that I get a lot of support from my children and my husband, and I'll explain to you how.
And how did you get into
Yeah,
something?
yeah, I was going to tell you
Because
first of all,
it's not the usual.
it's not. And I don't think that I ever imagined that I would be doing it. But once I started doing it, I realized how incredibly important it is to be doing it. After Rebbetzin Esther Alpern passed away, I was at the Kinnus HaShluchos at the time, and there was a course on Chevra Kadisha. I was not involved in a lot of the other courses. So I said, well, I'm not going to do Aleph Beis for your school, and I'm not going to do how to raise money for your shul. But I had just lost somebody who was very important to me, my mentor, my mashpia. And when I saw this, one of the sessions were Get Over Your Fear, Learn About Chevra Kadisha. I said, you know what? I want to understand what it is and what happens when a person passes away. And I joined the class, and it was an eye-opening session. It was very, very interesting. And they said, if anybody wants to continue on this course, we will be offering another session on this. And of course, I signed up for it, and I met some incredible women. One of them was Rachel Miller. She wrote a book called Dignity Beyond Death. She writes the book about how she became involved in Chevra Kadisha. She explained everything, how with the death of her father, she wanted to know more about it because her father had been involved. And then she became involved in Chevra Kadisha. And just to explain a little bit what Chevra Kadisha is for those who don't know, when a person's soul leaves their body in the Jewish tradition, there are certain things that we do before the person is buried. We clean the body a certain way, it's washed a certain way, shrouds are put on a certain way, and the person goes to their burial. We send their soul off in a very humane, beautiful way. And I can get into that a little bit more, or a different time when we talk about that. But
Yeah, we definitely want you back if that's okay to do
sure,
another class. Are you okay with that?
yeah,
Because once
anytime.
we have someone good, we always get them to come back.
Hiya,
Um,
thank you.
but like I said, you're the shlucha of the world this week, and
Oh,
you really,
I'm honored.
like,
I'm honored.
I'm honored to know you because you wear so many different hats. But the thing that impresses me, I don't get impressed by people who have money. I think money is very special, but I get impressed by what they do with their money. So that's why I'm impressed by you.
Thank you, Chaya. Like I said, I feel that everything that I have, I know everything that I have comes straight from God, comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But continuing on, I got involved in Chevra Kadisha because I came back to Brazil. I had done these 2 courses. I had also met Mrs. Gorelick from Italy. She's somebody else who had a huge impact on me. Mrs. Levertov actually also spoke to us about it. So there were these women who were discussing the mitzvah and telling us, you know, I don't know how you grew up, but in my home, my mother comes from a Russian background and everything has to be a big secret. So you're not allowed to say things like, you have to say, oh, that person is, and, they have, and everything was like a very, very big secret, and everything was taboo.
I can relate so much because I come from that family background.
Right. So like Chevra Kadisha was not anything that did you ever know about as you were growing up about Chevra Kadisha? It wasn't something that I knew about, that
I didn't know about that or mikvah.
Right. Right. I remember that Rebbitzin all-time told us that when she was growing up, she only knew that her father and the Potts went to the mikvah. She didn't know anything about women going to mikvah. That's another conversation too. But for sure, certain things were just very, very taboo. Chevra Kadisha was one of them. Death was not a discussion. Somebody, that's how like it was. So I really wanted to know about this mitzvah because I was like, this is not something that I grew up with knowing. 1 minute, what is this? And I get back to Brazil after I did those 2 courses at the Shluchos convention, and I call up my brother-in-law, who's the Rav of the city, and I said to him, I just wanted to let you know, I'm still in my childbearing years and whatever, but I did a Chevra Kadisha course. So just for you to be aware, but I probably still have like 5 years because I'm only 35. So like I usually say women above 40 or women who are already in menopause should do it because it's complicated when you're nursing or pregnant. And he says to me, oh, good, because the last Chabad person that was on Chevra Kadisha was Esther Alperin, who just passed away. He said, and we need a Lubavitcher person on Chevra Kadisha because we do say some different tefillos.
I just got the chills. This
Yeah.
is the woman that was your mashpia.
Correct.
And did you know that she was in Chevra Kadisha?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't believe so.
Full circle.
Total. So I started in Chevra Kadisha here in Sao Paulo that very year, unfortunately. Even though I was young, I wasn't expecting at the time. And I got a phone call. Hello, a Chabad woman passed away. Would you please join us? Rabbi Shammai Enda said that, you did a course on Chevra Kadisha. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. It's a lot. I was young. I had a bunch of small children. And I remember that the first time I was on my way to the funeral home, I was sweating bullets. I was shaking. I was terrified. It was like, this is the first time that I'm actually, and also I think a thought comes through our minds, imposter syndrome. Am I worthy to be doing this mitzvah? Like maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe it should be somebody much holier than me. All these things go through your mind. And then of course the fear of actually doing the mitzvah. And I arrived there and I remember the peace that I felt at the time. And the other women of Chevra Kadisha were very kind to me. And they said, as today is your first time, you can just stand here to the side. And I said, okay, what about the tefillos? And they said, oh, we don't say any. These were from women. I said, but why not? So they said, well, Esther Alper knew them by heart and she would say them. And the other Rebbitzin Ilovich has problems with her back. She hasn't been together with us. I said, but 1 minute. So we need to say the tefillos. And they were like, well, we don't say them. And right away, the first thing that I did was, of course, I printed out the tefillos. First of all, I gave the book Dignity Beyond Death to the other people in Chevra Kadisha. I told them, you must read this book and we must say these tefillos. These tefillos, these prayers are part of the whole beautiful mitzvah. And when you send off this soul into another world, It needs to hear your prayers because you are comforting it and you are leading it into the next world. So we must say the tefillos. So I was so grateful that I ended up getting into Chaver Kadisha right after Mrs. Rebbitzin, Esther Alperin, was not in it anymore because she passed away, and bringing the tefillos that she had always said and weren't being said anymore. So all of a sudden, it, like you said, really full circle. And we began to say the tefillos every time we would do the tahara, which is the purification through the washing of the body, etc. So it was really something that was very, it was the right time for me to join Chaver Kadisha. And again, this we see with the hand of the Rebbe. I was supposed to be here at that time. I needed to be here. This was part of my shlichus to be involved in Chaver Kadisha. And I also felt it was very, very important for me to teach my children about it. My children had no idea about what it was, same as me. And I taught them about it and I told them what I'm doing. And the minute they saw me with my high rain boots early in the morning leaving the house, my children would say, Mommy, are you going to do a tahara? Are you going to Chaver Kadisha? And I would say yes. Or if they saw me coming home with those high rubber rain boots, they would say to me again, Mommy, did you just go to help somebody leave this world? So I felt that it was such an important lesson for my children. And my husband supported me 100%. He was so proud that I was able to do it. And he said, listen, I can't do it, but I'm proud of you that you can do it. And I'm proud that you as my wife can do it. Of course, I could not discuss it with my mother. She did not like the subject. What? No, you can't do. I'm like, Mom, you know, that Russian, oh, how could you do such a thing? But I know she's very, very proud of me. It's just something hard, you know, for somebody who grew up with hush whispers talking about this mitzvah. But I do think it's a mitzvah that we must teach our children about, because Mashiach should come and we should never, ever need it. But we need to teach the next generation the beauty of this mitzvah and how to do it. They should never have to do it again, but they need to know how. And it should definitely be on curriculums, maybe in high school. It's not. I wish it was. I wish somebody would start something about it, but it's definitely something that should be spoken about. And all of us, not just children, but I think all of us need to be educated on this beautiful mitzvah and understand how we are an Am Harachamim, how we are such an incredible nation that sends off the souls of our brethren in such a beautiful, holy, spiritual way. And I want to tell you that on that ride home of the first time that I did a tahara, it was a metamorphosis for me. I sat in that car and there was just low murmuring. Everybody was just, you know, and I said to myself, how lucky are we? How lucky are we that we wake up every morning and breathe? How lucky are we when we say Moda'ani, when we thank God for giving us back our soul? Because we are nothing without our soul. We are so lucky. And we worry about the small quibbles and quabbles in life. And it makes you realize what's important. It gives you meaning to understand what life is. We are here 1 minute and we are gone the next. And only with God's breath in us can we live here in this world and do what he wants us to do. So it just gave me a different outlook and a different vision on life, having the honor and the schus of doing this mitzvah.
Wow, never thought of it like that. So special that you shared, and we were looking for someone to share about like a class on afterlife, and so we found the person today, and you agreed already. So we're gonna, please God, unfortunately, there's not one person doesn't have loss in their life. We're all in Gullus together. We're
Yes.
we're all ready for Mashiach. Even the people that didn't want to talk about Mashiach, they're talking about Mashiach today. We need Mashiach so badly. We need him to come, and we have to make him come. We have to make it happen.
We do.
And we all have the power to make it happen by doing the mitzvos that come your way. And like, I'm just so blown away by Yaffie, like that she doesn't like let a mitzvah pass her. And, I would never have known any of these things about you if I didn't meet you. Like I was just impressed that you made cool wigs. I was like, wow, that's so awesome that we're getting her on our program. Um, but you're so much more than that. You have so much more like teichen and depth. So I'm really humbled to call you my new friend. We
Oh,
became
hi.
friends.
Thank
And
you.
later on, I'll share some private stories with you of what you spoke about, but it was just amazing. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. And I want to thank everyone in advance for giving to RCCS. I'm going to ask you if you can give to our auction that we're making, the RCCS auction, and buy a ticket also for someone else. Like put it in, do an extra mitzvah. Say, oh, I'm going to buy this for this person. You never know, they might win, and you might put a smile on someone's face. I'm all about that. And I also have a page. So I'll put everything on the description on YouTube that you can check it out, or you can call me, or you could text me, or if you're hearing this from someone that you don't know me, they know me, so they'll connect you to me, and you can call in um, with your tickets. It's going to be Sunday. So we're going to, please God, release this class earlier than Wednesday. Please God, by tomorrow, it's going to be released. And we're going to give you guys, you have a few days to open up your hearts and give to this organization and be a partner and figure out how you can be part of this organization. It could be by giving, it could be by taking on a page for the future. If you would like to have a page, please reach out to me. I'll connect you to the coordinators because I have that connection. And it's so easy. No one should need this organization. I don't wish it on anyone. But for those of you that are going through things, I wish you like literally like full health. And I just want to say, you mentioned that you're very passionate about different organizations. One of them was Karen Simcha V'Chassan Kala, which is Devorah Benjamin. She is one of my biggest role models. She sits outside in the cold under a little tent, freezing, huddled, raising money for brides to go to their wedding with dignity. And unfortunately, she has so many orphans that are getting married every single day, and she's collecting. Thank God somehow Hashem helps her. But unfortunately, her husband was left this world to this terrible, terrible, terrible illness. It's his yahrzeit coming up, and we want to honor him on our class. I don't know his name by heart, but Hashem knows it's coming from my heart. We want to send well wishes to Devorah Benjamin and to her family, her wonderful children, and really to all Klal Yisrael, because he's missing. He was an educator, a teacher. In my humble opinion, that is the most rewarding job, and even though the world doesn't look at it, but it's the most important job in the world to be a teacher, to teach children, because that's how we have all the professionals in the world. It's from those teachers that give love to children. And he was the most incredible, incredible educator. So his neshama should have the highest aliyah, and Mashiach should come. We're going to end here. We always like to end off with wanting more. So we're going to continue this. Please God, we'll have a live class in the future with Yaffie, and we'll coordinate with the time zones, as different time zones. I got on here at 7 a.m. to make this class happen. It's 2 hours ahead. Thank you, Yaffie, and your busy schedule to take the time to do this for RCCS and for me and for the class. You didn't know me before. So for me, I don't take anything for granted. But I feel very humbled to know you now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you, everyone. Oh, and before I go, I just want to say, Hakar Sataiv is really important to me, being thankful. I want to say thank you to Hashem and the Rebbe for giving me this opportunity to bring light into the world. Now, the Rebbe is my partner. For those of you that want to know why this class is successful, because the Rebbe is my partner in this. I made him my partner, and he is someone that helps me, no doubt, because we have every kind of Jew, like the kotel that tunes in. But at the end of the day, we are the same. It doesn't matter how we look, what we're dressed, we're all the same. We have a neshama, we have a soul, we come from God, we're the same. So I'm very humbled for everyone that tunes in, and I get crazy, amazing feedback from this class. So thank you. Keep the feedback coming. I want to say thank you to my shpia and mentor of this class, Shady Jacobson. Thank you so much for everything that you do behind the scenes. I want to say thank you to all the ambassadors of the class. An ambassador is someone that spreads light. Basically, they put it on their WhatsApp chats or their statuses, and poof, life comes out into the world. You can become an ambassador today. Why do you want to become an ambassador? Because I share my merits, and I I am fully, I believe with my full heart that this class brings a lot of merit. So please tap into that and be an ambassador so we can spread this around the world. It is spread throughout many countries and many states, but we want it to get even bigger. And it's for every type of Jew, every background, this class. It doesn't matter if you practice or you don't, this class is for you. I want to say thank you, lastly, to my dear husband for really supporting me in this class, helping me with the tech YouTube channel, and really just supporting this because this consumes my entire day and thoughts. And, I want to make it perfect. So thank you to my dear husband. And we will see you next time. And thank you so much again, Yaffie. Honored and humbled to know you. You're awesome.